All right, y'all ready to talk about some money? Yeah, I thought you would. When we asked what were some new topics that you wanted us to talk about in season 2 of the podcast, you overwhelmingly said you wanted more money conversations. So we went and found somebody that is a money expert. As a matter of fact, his personal journey of paying off $150,000 of debt is what he's sharing with you here today. My colleague Hosea Pipkins is going to be here to talk about all of that and how he's helping other people achieve the same financial dreams. He is a YouTuber, a realtor, he is an educator, and he's got a whole lot of goodness that he wants to share with you. So stay tuned to the next episode of the podcast where he's giving you all his steps of how to achieve your financial dreams. All righty, everybody, welcome to probably the most money-focused episode that we've done so far. So everybody, welcome to the Melanated Midlife podcast. I am so glad that you're here. This is definitely going to be an episode where you need to get some pen and paper, a whiteboard, maybe a calculator, I don't know, a few things, because we gonna talk dollars.
Yes.
Specifically about how to be better with your dollars to become debt-free.
Yes.
So I am with a money expert here. This is Hosea Pipkins, and you are YouTuber, speaker, realtor extraordinaire, all those things. And also, I mean, you gonna talk about some struggles that brought all of those things together. So we're looking at your finished product, or at least your more developed product, but you're gonna tell us the whole story of how we get to be like you.
Okay.
So welcome. I'm glad you're here. You're gonna teach us some things. So tell us a little bit about your background.
All right. First off, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I am a realtor and all those things, and money expert. Thank you very much. But most importantly, I'm a husband and father who essentially was just tired of bills. I'm from Houston, Texas. Have two great parents who I kind of was able to watch them work together to develop some good money habits.
Yeah.
And I want to pass some of that on to those who may not have seen that before.
I love that.
So that's why I'm here.
Yeah. So we got a lot to learn here. So I mean, and when we had the initial conversation, I don't even know if I was even thinking about the money piece when this sort of came together. But you just very casually mentioned, like, oh yeah, we've paid off our mortgage.
Yes.
And I'm like, well,
Right.
Rewind.
Right.
Excuse me.
Right.
You know, how many people can say that at whatever age? I mean, this audience here, these are the over 40s, the over 50 folks, and we've lived a life of paying bills, making the time and energy investments, and we have the goal of paying off that house, but not everybody realizes it, you know? So to say that you at your age, which I mean, I know you're not a spring chicken, but you are young. You are still a very young man, but you made this happen. So, I mean, take us all the way back, you know, to how this got started, because I'm going to assume that maybe you are not from a wealthy family.
I am not.
Okay. All right. So let's take that off the table. Okay. So there was no inheritance that came into this?
There was no inheritance. I'm wealthy in love from my family, but not in dollars.
Gotcha.
I don't come from that, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't always thinking about how to become that or become that person in my family to get the ball rolling. I talk to my dad from time to time, and one day we was talking about the family tree, et cetera. And I told my dad, I said, you know what? I want 4 or 5 generations from now, when I'm gone, to when my great-great-great-grandkids are looking and they're saying, man, how do we get this money? And when they start going back and looking at the family tree, they're going to say, oh, this is the moment that turned our family for generations.
Right.
So I want to be that person for my family. And so it kind of got started with a conversation with my father. But as far as me like executing and coming up with a plan, simple. I got laid off. I got laid off 2017.
Gotcha.
I was called into a room with a bunch of other people, and folks came out in suits, and they had this long PowerPoint. And at the end of the long PowerPoint, they said, "We don't need all 81 of you anymore."
Team was cut.
Team was cut. And here I am. I got a kid. I got a house note. I got a car note.
Right.
I got student loans. And I'm thinking, man, I got to go back to my wife and tell her I got laid off. And no one saw it coming.
Yeah.
You know, no one saw it coming. You can anticipate those things, but when it does happen, it blindsides you.
Absolutely.
And from that moment, I said, I'm not going to let this happen to me again because I put my family at risk. I felt bad. I was like,
You feel responsible even though you didn't do it. Right.
I felt responsible. And I felt responsible in the sense of I should have had that plan B and C in case this happened so my family can continue to live the lifestyle that we currently lived at that time.
That's a mouthful right there. I mean, because as the man of the household, and I know that I'm probably gonna get canceled all kind of ways for saying this, but it's like we do have these expectations, and my husband says this all the time, where and I'm gonna screw up the quote. Chris Rock said it that if the baby, the kid in the house can't read because, you know, for whatever reason, hey, that's mama's fault.
Yeah.
If the kid can't read because the lights are not on, that's daddy's fault.
Absolutely.
And you know that'll spark all kind of arguments of the traditional gender roles and everything. But when you have the 2-parent household, whatever those 2 parents look like, I mean, there is a division of the responsibilities. There is some partnership, and it is probably natural for the traditional male-female roles that the man is going to think the buck stops here with the bills, with making sure that the finances are lining up. Whether it's the reality or not, you're taking that emotion on yourself.
Right.
And when that job is gone, when that announcement happens, you're just like, this was my fault.
Yeah, and you know what? Going home to my wife and saying, hey, you know, well, before I even got home, I called her on her cell phone. And she was like, it's all right. You know, we'll be fine. Of course, my wife has her own career, and she's like, you know, we've planned for situations like this, and I got you. I'm here to be a helpmate for you. This is we knew this when we got married, right?
For better or worse.
For better or worse. And I got home and we started talking, and I just explained to her. I said, you know what? If something happens with this house and with the kids, and we can't pay bills, nobody's gonna say, Keisha, my wife, what are you going to do to get your family out of this? The whole world's going to look at me. The whole world's going to look at me.
Real talk.
It doesn't matter how much she makes. If she's doing well, the world doesn't look at her. The world looks at me and say, how are you going to get your wife and kids out of this? And so when she said, okay, I get it. You know, I get it. You know, so I said, okay, I can wallow in this, or I can start my plan right now today.
Yeah.
And that's when I started putting pen to paper, which was a huge shift because I was always talking about paying off debt and et cetera in case of something like this happens. Then it happens. I don't have anything on paper.
Right.
So I immediately start writing down things that I want to pay off, things that I want to do. And then that was the spark of our debt-free path, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we are seeing some real scenarios here, and I relate to that story, that piece of, you know, losing, you know, two parent, 2 paycheck household. One goes away for whatever reason, whether it is the job cut, whether it is a health crisis.
Right.
I relate to that because we definitely have seen that in my world. And so you're at your lowest point. Truly your lowest point, and you decide, okay, we're gonna make this a math problem.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna put actual black and white numbers on paper and start figuring that out. So tell us, what does that look like?
So a few months after that, well, luckily I was blessed to get a job right after that, like literally in the tech world right after that. And so I said, okay, normally what would happen is, and I saw this over time, and those same folks that I was in the room with that day, and not knocking what they do, but they got back comfortable again. I didn't, right? Because we were able to apply for other positions in the district. There was no guarantee.
Right.
But we were able to get those positions. But only 19 of us out of the 80 plus were able to get a spot.
Small amount, yeah.
And God worked it out for me. I was number 20.
Mm.
And somebody stepped out. They took a position, actually a good friend of mine. She stepped out and went to another place.
Right.
And I was bumped up to number 19.
Yes.
And I kind of took that as a sign of, okay.
Don't waste this chance.
Don't waste this chance. You're getting your money now. You're back where you were. But we're not going to give them that power over you anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let me, I mean, I felt that. I really felt that.
Yeah.
Somebody else, some other employer, some money situation not having power over you. You decided that this is me that's going to be in control of this.
Yes.
Okay. I get you.
And, I have a tendency to be a lot more verbal than most of my counterparts. I ask questions. Why do we do things this way?
Yeah.
Why not this way? And then I back it up with data or scenarios. That's not always received well by a company. So I when I got the new position, I told my wife, I said, hey, we got to start executing this plan because you don't have the type of husband that bites his tongue. And I don't care what your degree says. I don't care if you're doctor such and such, or you got a master's in this. If it doesn't make sense to me,
make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to address it. I'm going to go, well, that may help you, but that doesn't help the people. That doesn't help those working for you.
Yeah.
And so I always come with solutions. I don't always just come with complaints, but I say, hey, can we try this? And sometimes there's a yes and there's a no, and there's an intimidation factor there. And so I said, hey, you know what? Just to considering being laid off before and considering I got this position, how I got it, and I'm verbal.
Right.
I want to make sure. In case somebody gets mad up top. Maybe, for being called out.
Right.
I still want to be able to speak freely because the position I was in, I represented other people.
Yeah.
And I was speaking for them as well.
Yeah.
And so I don't like using other people to get where I want to go. I believe that God orders my steps and I can get there regardless.
Ooh.
So
yes.
Started speaking my mind. I spoke it before the layoff, but I definitely spoke my mind after the layoff.
Absolutely.
Because now I have a plan in place and it just kind of frees you.
It does, yeah.
When you start paying off things, you start thinking with clarity, and then you can help others too. You can speak up for other people.
And that's what you do now.
Yeah.
You're helping other people. So this experience, it was a little bit of a jolt to the household. Like, okay, this, and that's for all of us. I mean, there's probably people that are watching this right now and say, no, I got a good job, or I make good money in my job. And that is wonderful. But having seen and been through how fleeting that is, I don't think we ever understand how close we are to being unemployed tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get a subtle warning. You're not going to get a heads up before it happens, because to whatever organization that you work for, whether it is a government job, a corporate job, whatever, at some stage in that organization, somebody's looking at the dollars and cents.
Absolutely.
And the personnel is the most expensive thing on their budget. And when things are, needing to be trimmed down or whatever, the biggest way for them to save money is to start cutting people.
Absolutely.
And so you learned from that experience. You put a plan together for you and your family. And now you've used that. Like you said, God is ordering your steps. You're serving the person you once were.
Right.
So tell us how what is it that you're doing with other folks?
So one thing I'm doing is making them look in the mirror and pull those bills out and say, be honest with yourself. What are you spending your money on? And it's always a shock.
How do people react when you first sit them down and start going through
Well,
their
it starts
money?
off fun. It starts off fun, and then it gets pretty intense at times. Now, you may have the couples or the single person who they're like, just bring it on, and they're ready to go. And then, but there's also a lot of emotional stuff that happens too. And I want to warn people, especially if you're a couple, when you sit down with the agenda I create and all that type of stuff, it's not a point the finger session. It is we're coming together, we're putting all our bills on the table, credit cards, student loans, car notes, and we are adding it up and seeing what we're giving away every month.
Seeing where the leak is happening.
What's happening?
Right.
You know, and folks think that, oh, you must deal with people who don't make over, you know, the 6-figure mark. Tons of people that make over 6 figures.
Right.
But the bills, they got 6 figures worth of bills as well.
And
Gotcha. So it's putting it down, looking at it and saying, wait, but where's our money going? And then there's a sense of discovery. I didn't know I was spending this much on lunch. I didn't know that. I'm realizing I'm spending $800 a year on a yard man when my yard is yay big. You know, I didn't. You know, you just start looking at the numbers and going, okay. A lot of times you realize it's not so bad. You're not keeping track. And what I force people to do is, I need an exact number. I don't want a roundabout number. How much do you make?
Yes.
Bring your check stubs in, and let's add.
Right.
And essentially, to make it brief. When me and my wife first started, we would watch Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman, and Susie Orman says, pay off the card that has the highest interest rate. And Dave Ramsey says, you know, start with the smallest bill and to be honest, we started with the card that annoyed us the most.
The emotion again.
That annoyed us the most.
Right.
And I tell you, there's no right or wrong answer. Just get started.
Just get started.
Oh
my God,
and
yes.
It was this card that I had paid off twice. It had a $12,000 limit on it. I think we ate up 9,800 of it. And it wasn't for frivolous things. I get it down to zero, the air conditioner would break. I got to fix the air conditioner. Then I get it back down to zero, the water heater would go out.
Yes.
So I paid this card off twice to get started. And this card just bugged me. Like, it just got on our nerves. Completely got on our nerves. So I said, we're going to start with this card right here.
Right.
We're going to focus on paying off this card. Out of all our list of things, we're going to pay this card off and get rid of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? And it started from there. So what I tell folks, if the car note gives you stress, get rid of the car note first. Right? If this credit card gives you stress, get rid of that first.
So you're attacking something tangible, but then the emotion with that target as well.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And,
okay.
And you'll hear folks say, oh, that's wrong. To me, there's no right or wrong way to get out of debt. Just get out of debt. So it was this card for us.
Right.
And we paid it off. Through that time, I got a real estate license and was able to work my 9 to 5. And when time allowed, I was able to sell a house or two and bring in some additional income, which I encourage people to do as well.
Okay.
And we were able to knock it down. And when we got that first card, it was like, what's next? Because it becomes addictive. And then you see, I got an extra $150 in my pocket. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If I get rid of this $600-700 car note every month, and then you start adding it together, that's about $9,000 a year I could save, et cetera. You start
back in my pocket.
Right.
Yes.
Back in my pocket for me to invest or do other things. That's the snowball we use.
Yes.
And as we did it, October 21st, 2021, we became completely debt-free.
Completely debt-free.
Completely debt-free.
But you had a mortgage, right?
No mortgage. No
paid
car
off
note,
the mortgage.
No student loans, no credit card debt, nothing. And we had savings in the bank.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
So I got laid off in 2017.
I'm doing the math.
Yeah,
4 years.
Yeah. Well, actually, remember, I paid that card off twice. Okay.
Right.
So-
You had to learn some lessons.
Right, I had to
twice.
learn some lessons along the way.
Right.
All in all, 20 months to pay off over $150,000 in debt.
Okay.
Yeah.
20 months
Yeah.
to pay off $150,000 of debt,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a regular household.
Yes.
There's nobody that won the lottery.
Mm-mm.
Nobody, no great uncle from the past gifted you with an inheritance.
Would have been nice, but no.
Yeah.
It would have been nice, but no. We did.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I want to repeat that because people are watching this right now and they're probably rewinding the video because they want to make sure they heard those numbers.
Absolutely.
20 months
Mm-hmm.
from a person that had just been laid off,
Yes.
just gotten into a new position.
Yes.
You went from $150,000 in debt to debt free in 20 months.
Yes. 20 months.
Okay. Okay. So you have everybody's attention now.
Yeah.
Everybody, okay. Let's let them pause and say, Deborah or Michelle, whoever you are, go get the paper, go get the pencil, and Hosea is going to tell you what magic he had to spend to make that debt go away.
Okay. So, coming from the background I came from,
Mhm.
always have meetings, tons of meetings, and I'm sitting there one day watching TV with my wife, and I said,
Mhm.
okay, we're going to start having financial meetings once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month.
You and her sitting across the table like this.
Yes, we're
Okay.
going to have financial meetings once a month at the kitchen table, the office,
Mhm.
and it started from there.
Mhm.
So my wife, she whipped out the pen and paper. She said, "Okay, let's pick our dates."
Mhm.
I went and bought this big, huge calendar off of Amazon. I put it on the wall, and I was like, beginning of the month,
Mhm.
when we get paid, our first checks every month, we're going to sit down and have our meeting
Mhm.
about our finances.
Yes.
She said, "Okay, great." Now, eventually, that turned into twice a month
Mhm.
because every time we got paid, we had a
Yes. Okay.
meeting. And so I did bring an agenda, kind of what I would tell someone to do.
Okay. All right.
Now, I do kind of tailor it if we're doing one-on-one coaching to your family,
Right.
but this is just a general one, right? So let me go here real quick.
Break it down.
So I got my family meeting agenda, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So in the opening, we see a prayer or an affirmation.
Love that.
Okay, so think of a prayer that you would like to say before you start your
Yes.
meeting,
Okay.
or an affirmation that you would like to say,
Mhm.
you and your wife together. Or I've talked to people who are single by yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just do that to get
Right.
started, and then you go to bills and finances.
Mhm.
So you pull up all your bills, everything that you are paying at that moment.
Mhm.
I'm talking about from the mortgage all the way down to Netflix.
Every way that the money is leaving the house,
Absolutely.
line all that up.
Write it all down.
Okay. Right.
Write it all down. We used the whiteboard
Mhm.
and we wrote everything down
Mhm.
and the due date.
Okay.
And then what we were paying monthly for that bill,
Mhm.
utilities included. Now, folks always say your utilities go up and down. So here's a little trick of what we did.
Okay.
I said, go back and look at your bills the past 12 months.
Mhm.
Pick the highest month. So if your average bill, your light bill is $150, but in the summertime it's $300
Yes.
because you live in Houston, Texas, and you're blowing your AC,
Yeah.
then you assume that your bill is going to be $300 a month for the year,
Right.
right? So we would say $300 a month, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Now, if your bill isn't $300 that month, guess what? You have extra money to put toward paying something else.
Something
down.
else.
But
Okay,
But you
gotcha.
say in your mind, it's going to be $300.
Yes. 300 is still taken off.
Yeah,
the-
just
yes.
in case. But
Gotcha.
if the light bill is only $200 that month, well, great.
You got an extra 100.
To put somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, not to
So,
spend.
We're not making it rain.
No. Oh, okay. Now I can put an extra $98 or whatever on the car note or something. You do that, okay?
Makes sense.
Okay, so what you got to go through the due date, the amount owed, okay?
Mhm.
And then you need to discuss, like I said, any changes in those bills and expenses.
Mhm.
That a new expense pop up.
Mhm.
Are you helping your parents with medicine? Are you is your child in this after school program that could help them get scholarships or something?
Right.
What new expenses will occur or may occur or have happened since last month? and you gotta put that down, okay?
Okay.
And you have to write it down. It's something about seeing it.
I
It's
agree.
something about
Yes.
seeing it because it's a positive. As you see it decrease, you get excited, okay?
Right.
Then you have a budget discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that budget discussion, you identify areas where spending can be reduced. Okay,
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Me and my wife, even though we're debt free, we still have our meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our meeting and we realized that we've been using the same alarm company since we've been in our house for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're spending an extra $50 we don't have to spend. We found an alarm company that, the upfront cost may be more, but over time we would save $50 a month.
Right.
That's $600 a year.
Yeah.
So we switched alarm companies.
Okay.
Little things like that, little tweaks.
It adds up because see, and I'm hearing the way you're making that connection because you're like $50 a month. Somebody is going to just $50. That ain't gonna make my situation no better by finding an extra $50. But when I think of it, $600 is $50 a month. Then I'm listening. I'm like, okay, $600 a month is that debt or that particular credit card balance from whatever, Macy's or, whoever that is sitting there
Absolutely.
that I haven't paid off at 25% interest.
Right. But you can also use that money to invest in yourself.
That's true.
Taking master classes. Learning a new skill that can make you more money.
Real estate license.
Get a real estate license, right?
Yes.
Get that real estate license where you can increase your income and continue to pay off those bills a little bit quicker.
So you're being strategic with that.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I'm listening to you. I'm absorbing all of this because you're dropping some gems here because I'm spending $600 on myself. I could be spending that at a gym, getting my health and body straight.
Absolutely.
I could put it towards a real estate license where I'm going to bring in a second income stream. I could buy a microphone and some software and start a podcast.
Absolutely.
And monetize that. All these different ways to bring in another stream of income so that you have the goal of paying stuff down.
Right.
I like that.
We took ours and we put in a Christmas fund for the kids. So now when Christmas comes, we can still stay on our budget.
And have fun.
And have a little bit of fun, right? So, 12 months go by, Christmas comes up in December. Hey, we got $600.
Love it. Love it.
Go crazy at the toy store, right?
Okay.
Right? And it's not hurting your budget because you set it aside, right?
I got you.
So to kind of shorten it up, then you have your financial goals. It's a reminder. What are we trying to achieve?
Okay.
Just a reminder. Just a reminder, everybody, we're attacking the car note right now. I know we got all these other bills.
Right.
But right now, let's attack this car note. Let's attack this credit card. Let's attack the mortgage. Remember, we're focused on getting rid of this right now. And when we get rid of this, we'll move to that.
So with your clients, when you have to refocus or making sure, kind of putting blinders on them, because I'm sure at some point it can feel like a lot.
Yes.
You start thinking, I'm thinking $150,000, and you have to say, oh, no, don't pay attention to that big mountain of debt. We're looking at this one $600 balance right now. We're looking at this one savings account that we want to build up. And psychologically, I'm imagining that is a big part of the work. Yes,
yeah, it is. And I would say don't be afraid of that. As you get into a routine, it gets easier and easier. Like you said, when you start working out, it's tough. It sucks. But over time, your body starts to change, and then you want to work out more. And that's what kind of happens with this. Yeah. As you get more money in your pocket, you get stronger mentally, and you want to keep going.
Love it.
Right.
Love it.
So just the small wins turn into big wins, over time.
Big time.
And so I just encourage people to say, hey, 90 days. Just see how much you reduce in 90 days. 90 days could
90
change.
days is doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Okay, because what happens is I'll get someone to come and say, hey, tell me what you did. And I'll tell them, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to check with my spouse or my significant other, and I'm going to see what they say. and they go to their spouse and they come back and like, oh, he or she, they're ready to go. But they're going to use their spouse as a reason to not do it. And they're shocked when they go to their spouse or their significant other.
They're like, oh, we really doing this.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, they're excited. They're ready to go. And that person that came to me is like, oh, I was just talking. That's something I want to do. I didn't realize that my partner was thinking the same way.
Gotcha.
And so I said, so now it's on you.
It's on you.
Are you ready to be disciplined? Because most folks, they have a way. It's the discipline part.
It's the discipline, and I imagine there's some bubble that they're in that feels safe. If I continue like this, I've been doing all right. It's been okay, whatever. But to be able to have someone remove all the excuses and say, all right, we gonna do this or not. You have to make a decision in that moment.
Yeah, and I don't rush them. I always tell them, eventually you're going to get tired of it. Eventually you're going to get tired of it. You're going to get tired of sending your money out to wherever you're going to send it to. You're going to be tired of the stress at work.
Right.
There's a different feeling at work when your mortgage is paid off.
Oh, I can see that.
You know what I mean? That's just a different feeling.
Yeah.
There's a confidence you walk around with, knowing, all right, something happens, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed. There's no need to flip tables over, do anything like that. Okay, I'm in a position where I can take my time and go elsewhere. I can take my time and start a business.
Yes. It
gives you that opportunity, that freedom to, hey, you don't hold that power over me. And they don't know.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah.
For something having power over you and having agency over your own life, whatever the next thing is going to look like, you do stand up a little bit taller.
You do. And, when I got debt free, I started getting, man, you just walk around here without a care in the world. And I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but I was doing my job and doing it well.
Yeah.
But I just did it with a sense of, oh, it's going to be all right. I don't get as stressed anymore. Small things don't bother me as much. You don't realize how much weight is on you because you're used to doing it.
Yeah.
Those bills are on you, whether you feel them or not. But when they're gone, you're like, oh man, I had all that stress. I didn't realize it was stressing me. Like that.
You're not beholden to someone else or something else. That monkey on your back is now gone, bothering somebody else. Yeah. You made a statement a second ago talking about eventually you'll get tired of it. And I think about so many things in life, so many goals that we have, dreams that are deferred. And at some point, hopefully, you get tired of your own bullshit.
Yeah. Stop lying to yourself.
Stop lying to yourself.
Stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
I always say affirmations and stuff, and I come up with these quotes. And so I used to say them to my wife, and like she'd be like, "Okay, we're on it." So I have some.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that?
So here's one. I'd rather train people than shame people. Someone goes, you're 40 plus years old, you drowning in debt, you still not paying your bills on time, your credit's bad, that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Okay, you made a mistake. If I got time to shame you, I got time to train you.
Yeah.
If you're willing to be trained.
What's done is done.
What's done is done. Again, we're using a gym analogy. I've gained 50 pounds. I lost my mind in the kitchen, right?
Had a good time.
You can go exercise.
Yeah.
And go walking.
Tomorrow is a new start.
But some folks need a trainer.
Yeah.
And you get a trainer to help you get through that. That's what I am for finances, right?
A trainer for your finances.
A trainer for your finances. Someone who's going to hold you accountable, that's standing on the outside, looking in, going, hey, I get you want to go to that concert. I get you want to take that trip to the Caribbean. You may have to go to San Antonio this year.
Yeah.
You may have to go to a concert in the park. Right? You can't do that right now. You have a goal.
Yeah.
Your goals don't care about your excuses. So you need to do what you need to do.
Ooh, That's a T-shirt.
You know?
Your goals don't care about your excuses.
Your goals don't care about your excuses.
All right.
So
Okay.
you have to do that. You need someone to say, hey, call you. Hey, it's Friday. I know you just got paid. Is that a waiter out here in the background?
Where are you?
I thought y'all weren't going out to eat, but once a month.
I'm at the steakhouse, right?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Right.
Right? Why spend that $150, $200 there?
Yeah.
Go buy a steak.
And
get a cookbook and cook it at home.
And it's still no shame because you're just making them accountable to the goal they've already set.
Yes.
Absolutely good stuff.
And it's not me being annoying. It's not me. I'm just saying, hey, you said what you said you was going to do. Right? And so get to doing that. Because my thing is, I want everybody to feel like I feel right now. Because I know what the end result is.
Right.
And guess what? When you get to debt freedom, you can buy as much steak as you want. You can go out 2 or 3 times a week.
Exactly.
Because you don't have the mortgage, the car note, etc. on your back anymore. So,
And with your own experience, you've proven that it's not going to take a lifetime to get there.
Yeah. You know, do something now your future self will be proud of. All right? So get started right now.
I love it.
Like, what's the date? 20, what is this, August?
I don't know.
Some blah, blah, blah. But anyway, but you know, it's if you start right now and you look up a year later and you go, man, I'm so glad I got started. And even if you just paid off 2 cards and it freed up $400 a month, you're going, oh man, I'm so glad I did that.
That's excellent.
You know, so get started right now. Don't say, oh, I'll start next week.
I'll start next Monday.
Oh, let's go out one more last time and all this kind of stuff. No. Right now, get started right now. Yes. Target something and attack it.
Excellent.
Just be very aggressive with it. And also make sure if you're a couple, again, I got to remind this, don't finger point. Don't do that. Just say, okay, this is where we are.
Yeah.
Let's get started and let's knock these things out so we can essentially be better, you know, be better financially. But we talk about our pockets, the mental side of it. It's so releasing.
It is.
To have that off of you.
Yeah.
Right. And I know I'm not going crazy. I know I got healthier. I know I slept better.
Yeah. The stress, mentally,
yes.
You've got more bandwidth for other things, other ideas. Okay. Yeah. What else you want to tell us?
I want folks to be honest with themselves. If you've never seen it done, it's kind of hard to do it, I think. Like we said, we're just having a conversation one day and we were talking about future endeavors, et cetera. And I just said, hey, yeah, because, you know, I paid my house off, so now I have X, Y, and Z. And I realized when you say things like that, it sparks interest in people.
Absolutely.
My wife was on the phone with a good friend of hers, and they were talking about putting some money in things, and my wife was just telling her, just the things I'm saying now. Yeah, just do X, Y, and Z. And she goes, yeah, because then, you know, you'll pay your mortgage off, and her friend says, what? And my wife's just still talking. She's still talking. Yeah, because we did it. We paid our mortgage off, and I just heard silence on the phone. And then I heard her friend scream for her husband.
Come listen to this.
Come here for a minute. And my wife's like, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, we paid our mortgage off. We paid this off. And her husband's in the background going, how?
Show me how.
Show me how. And I was like, all right, I'll send you what we do. And you're welcome to tweak it however you want to tweak it. But this is what we did, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, this is a Melanated podcast.
It's Melanated folks watching.
It's rare to hear that from my people, right? So it's like, oh, no, y'all paid your house off? That's different. You know, I when we went to the bank, we woke up that morning, we looked, I said, let me check our savings. And I noticed we had more money in our savings than we owed on our house. A little over $19,000.
Gotcha.
And we had breakfast, and I said, baby, you know, let's just have a quick meeting real quick. I know it's not, and I said, hey, you know, we have more money in our savings now than we owe on our mortgage. And I said, let's go pay it off.
Let's do it
now. And she was like,
let's do it.
but you look at that number,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your end number is going to be, you're going to be like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, no, we're here. We're here now.
Yeah.
And we had money in different banks, which is something, you know, once you watch the YouTube channel, you'll learn why we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we called one bank up, and we called our banker. We said, hey, we need $19,000 and some change. We need to get that. And they were like, huh?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Okay, give us time.
Mm-hmm.
We went in, got the money. We explained what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, you're doing what? You're paying your house off.
My goodness.
Yeah. And we took that money over to Chase Bank, the other bank.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we walked into Chase, and we called them ahead of time and said, hey, we're coming to pay off a debt. We went in and we sat down with the banker, and they go, so what do you want to pay off? He said, we're going to pay off our mortgage. And it was like, the face turned white.
Even the financial institution
They hardly see it.
They don't see it.
And they looked at the 19,000+
Mm-hmm.
and said, we have the cash right here. And it literally was like the whole bank. Okay, we're going to open up another teller for you.
Yeah.
We got in that line. They had to count all the money out. The teller was like, oh, y'all are paying this off?
Wow.
What's that like?
Mm.
And then I started explaining to this person, and there's people in line.
Yeah.
And there's folks, when there's a gentleman in line that goes, it took me 30 years to do what you just did. And he said, congratulations.
That is awesome.
It took me 30 years. And I'm looking, and I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the bank for an hour. It probably only took about 20 minutes, but because they were giving us cards, and they were saying, now you have money to do this and that. And it was how? And I was like, you work at the bank.
Yeah, don't you do this?
This is what you do.
Yeah.
And just the excitement of the folks that worked in the bank. And they were just like, this is amazing. And I wanted to do that. I took my kids with us. Mm-hmm. I got that. There's a great channel, His and Her Money. I got that idea. Take your kids, if you have kids, to the bank with you when you pay your house off. Mm-hmm. And then my son was like, so it's our house now? And I said, yeah, it's all ours, you know, as long as we pay the taxes on it.
That's right.
Right? And he was like, oh. I said, yeah, so essentially you really don't own your house till you pay it off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's ours. As long as we pay our taxes on it.
It's a rent-to-own situation.
Yes. But my son at the time was 8, and he had the mindset to go, literally, oh, it should be easier if you just got to pay the taxes now, and we don't have to pay the mortgage, right? I was like, yeah, it actually is easier. Yeah, and we took a picture outside the bank, and it still sits with him. He's 11 now. My daughter was 3. It still sits with him in his mind.
11 years old. Yeah. I mean, and see, we talk about that, you know, like I say, in the melanated community, that is the new thing about building generational wealth.
Absolutely.
And of course, yes, we want to talk about all the ways that, you know, there is no ceiling when it comes to earning your own money, but we don't talk enough about that moment right there, is being open and transparent with our children of what the money game really looks like. So at 11 years old, he's coming from that situation like, okay, my mom and dad did whatever. We you know, probably had a regular life, and we woke up every day, bills were paid, but this was also happening in the background. Yeah. And so when he goes to buy his home or chooses a partner or chooses a career, all of that is going to be calculating in his head of where the smart decisions are going to be. Yep. So and I'm just making a prediction, he's not going to be in a situation where he's letting the money control his choices. He's in control of it himself.
No, because he hears it all day.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I tell him, hey, stop giving your mind mental junk food. And I say that for adults
Another t-shirt. Stop giving your mind mental junk food.
Stop giving your mind mental junk food. I tell this to folks all the time.
Gotcha.
Hey, change what you watch. There's tons of YouTube channels out there. You're trying to get out of debt. You should be watching debt-free content all day. And there's more than just
Consuming good stuff.
Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman, just regular folks like me and you that have done it.
Yeah.
Watch them, listen to their stories, consume it, watch it every single day. If you're going for a walk, get you a book that talks about strategizing and getting your mind correct for what you're about to do.
Right.
Get rid of the mental junk food. Start pouring in the things that you're trying to do. And you're going to start using the verbiage that you hear. You're going to start thinking differently. Pick 2 YouTube channels to watch and watch them with your spouse or by yourself, but watch them daily. Watch old videos.
Yeah, and it's not a time.
It's not,
You're talking 20 minutes of your day.
20 minutes of your day. Just consume it. And then you start to, I am that. This is what I am. I'm this type of person who wants to get this done by this time.
Love it.
Yeah. It works. It works.
It works.
It works.
You are the embodiment,
the
the living embodiment of this process.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So did we get all your steps, or is there anything else that you want to tell folks?
Those are the steps that I believe you can get started with.
Okay.
And then you kind of tailor it. So I'll repeat them for you, okay?
Thank you.
So your opening meeting, you start with an affirmation or prayer. You choose whatever verse you want to choose, whatever religion you choose it. Okay?
Get your mind right.
Then you discuss your bills and finances. You review your bills, what everything is costing you at the moment, bills you've removed, etc. You have a budget discussion. That's always fun. Okay. You have a budget discussion. How much are we going to keep in our pocket?
Right.
And have an honest conversation with yourself. Okay. How much are we going to keep in our pocket, and how are we going to do that? And then you're going to set some financial goals. Okay. And so once you do that, you have your base, your blueprint, and then from there it kind of morphs, and it will happen naturally. Okay. I do have an agenda that I can provide once folks reach out to, email me at DebtFreePipkins at gmail.com. You can DebtFreePipkins at gmail.com. You can email me and I can send you the agenda that we use.
Yeah.
And you can tweak it how you want, but I would suggest kind of stick to those bullet points right there. And this just reminded me of something as far as budget. You don't have to live on beans, rice, and beans.
Because that's what I'm thinking.
You don't have to live on beans, rice, and beans. Be honest with yourself. Life happens. You have kids. If you celebrate Christmas, don't tell me you're not going to put a gift under the tree for your children. Like, stop.
Right.
Stop it.
You can still have fun.
You can still live a good life on a budget.
Yeah.
You don't have to be around here sad because you can't get X, Y, and Z. You just can't get it as much. But I tell you what, when you do get it, you appreciate it more because you're pulling back from it, right? A great way to quickly set a budget for yourself is my wife and I, we added up our checks. Take your checks,
okay,
add them all up. Let's say you're a $100,000 household, just for math purposes. You and your spouse together, or you by yourself, make $100,000.
Okay.
Right? So you make $100,000 a year. Great. You've added your bills up already. Okay. You've added your bills up. And you can multiply that by 12. Right? And this is how much you spend on bills yearly, and you make $100,000 a month.
Gotcha.
So you can see that. But here's where it gets really fun, right? So let's say you're bringing in $8,000 a month after taxes or whatever. You're bringing in $8,000 a month. But you got $5,000 worth of bills.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what do you have left? You have
$3,000.
With that $3,000, you got to decide.
Where's it going to go?
Where's it going to go? You have to say, okay, 1,000 will go to debt freedom. 1,000 will go in savings. And guess what? We got to split $1,000 for the month.
Okay.
And so whatever little Starbucks coffee you want, whatever nails done, or whatever part you got to buy.
It fits in that.
It has to come out of your $500.
We can do that.
You can
because
do that.
You're being intentional first.
Yes.
Because so I do it myself. I pull into the grocery store. I just, that's my one example. And I'll buy a whole lot of stuff. And my husband is probably going to watch this and say, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was going through the refrigerator and the pantry last night. I had just gone to the, gotten my grocery order. Plenty of stuff in the kitchen. But he's like, you know what? We don't have anything to actually make a meal.
Yeah.
You know?
You
And
got
I'm
a little
like,
bit of everything, but not everything you
I
need.
know,
Yeah.
but my feelings were hurt. I was like,
Right.
I just spent all this money on groceries. And I was like, oh yeah, I spent money on food, not thinking about a plan of how we were going to use that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're going to eat it? Sure. But was I intentional or, did some type of thought before I just started throwing things into that digital cart?
Right. And like with my budget, I'm not a fan of cutting the yard. So it was something, I don't consider that a bill. That's something I can do myself. So that was one of my luxuries out of my budget, my allowance. Me and my wife call it the allowance, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm paying for this yard, man. I'm my allowance. And I
Yeah.
did, my coffees.
Love my coffees.
And you know what happens too? You find out you don't spend as much money, and then you'll have $200, $300, $400 roll over from your budget. And it just keeps increasing because you're like, I don't really need that. I don't really need this. I really just need whatever it is.
Awesome.
So yeah, use those strategies like that because you think, oh, I got a budget. No.
Yeah.
What you bring in every month.
It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. And then your bills, subtract it from what you bring in, whatever left over, divide it up into 3. Savings, debt freedom, and the rest is your budget. And you split it. Or if you're by yourself, you keep it. And you say, this is our spending money. If we're going to go out to eat, it's got to come out of this.
Right.
If we're going to go do whatever, it's got to come out of our spending budget, not your savings. And then you know where every dollar's going.
Yeah.
You know where everything is going. Everybody's aware.
You're in control.
You're in control,
Yeah.
Now, I can't help you with the other stuff. If your spouse don't want you to have a password and all that, fix all that before you come to me. All right?
Say, call another coach.
Yeah, call another coach. If y'all not working together. But
Right.
if you're working together, I got you. If you're single, I still got you. And again, just start consuming content that's pushing you towards your goals.
Love it.
And
Love
keep it to yourself.
Keep it to we ain't got to broadcast all of our business. Just work, progress.
Yeah, don't tell mom and dad. Don't tell friends. Because all of a sudden they want to take their family cruise. All of a sudden they want you to go to this concert.
Because your money is their money in their minds, which ain't true.
It's
not true. Get out my pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it to yourself and push through. And then once you hit that goal, if you want to tell the world, tell the world.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going to say anything. I was told not to say anything because people going to ask you for money. I have no problem saying no.
Right.
And they did. And they found out quickly,
Yeah.
But I was also able to bless some people as well.
That's beautiful.
Because I have the opportunity to do that now. So you can do this. It's not hard, y'all.
Yes, you can.
Let me rephrase that. It may be hard for some folks. What I can guarantee, it'll be worth it.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate you reframing that. So everything that you have talked about is, like I said, if Louise, Michelle, Deborah, all y'all, I hope you wrote all this down, but if they wrote it down and they're like, okay, he's telling me everything, I still got to work with somebody. I still need a professional to hold my hand through this process. So you work with people, one-on-one clients, but you also have a YouTube channel that they can get this, like you say, feeding your brain, feeding your purpose. So tell them how they can get in touch with you and follow you.
The YouTube channel is DebtFreePipkins.
Okay.
Pipkins spelled Pipkins. DebtFreePipkins. And I'll be on there just giving little tidbits about things that you can do to get debt free. Everything from ideas to what we did. Again, folks say, are you a professional at this? I think so, because I went through the process.
Yes, sir.
So I went through the process. And so everything from, hey, we're doing this to buy a home. I'll explain the real estate side of things. And it's just a channel you can come to and watch and get inspired, get ideas, and learn how to put pen to paper and start to execute to get to debt freedom so you can have peace of mind and you can walk around carefree like I do.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
And tell them that email again, just in case.
That email is at DebtFreePipkins, at DebtFreePipkins, PIPKINS.
Awesome. All right. Hosea Pipkins, financial guru, budgeteer, realtor, YouTuber, all the talents, all the magic. I do appreciate you being here, sir.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Hey, all right. Y'all heard it. If you want to get in touch with this gentleman to get your life right, which I know I'm talking to every single person out there, doesn't matter the emotion that you have attached to it, we can actually, can get them to where they want to be. So thank you. You will see all of this information linked in the show notes. So go there to get in contact with Mr. Pipkins, and definitely like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. All righty. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.